And now the results are in. Taking the podium this month for the Cycling Men of Leisure:
Franklin Johnson, Alex Bell, Barbara Sharp, Mandy Johnson, Kip Uthold, Joe Grammer, Dennis Keeler, and honorable mention, Keith and Melanie Erickson.
No kissing of the cheeks, no prize money, no champagne. Just our undying gratitude and the smug satisfaction of getting every regular show 2 days before the general public.
That's right. That's 48-hour gap. Not even Puja. You know what? Toddy can close that.
Welcome to the Leisure Breakaway. Catch the sun and seize the day. Push the limit, feel the heat. Listen to the rhythm beat. Keep on moving, never slow. Where the yellow jersey goes. The tour is calling out your name. This is the Leisure
All right, a hot day, lightning fast sprints, another chapter in the battle for yellow. Stage 7 looked straightforward on paper, but let me tell you, the finish delivered exactly that kind of drama that the Tour de France is famous for. We're going to break down the winners, who holds the jerseys, and what it all means heading into Stage 8. I am Michael with Cycling Men of Leisure's Leisure Breakaway, and with me, as always, my good friend, Adam.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to wish my good friend, my best friend from Central Time Zone, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
29 today.
Yes, because I was 28 last year, so that works out really well.
How was Stage 7? I've done some homework for a little bit later, but I want to be transparent. I was unable to pay attention today. I was actually doing work on a Friday.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I believe that, but that's okay. Stage 7 started in Girmay, finished in Bordeaux, so we're moving into the wine country. Distance 175.1 kilometers for us Americans. That's 108.8 miles. Flat sprint stage. Approximate elevation gain was 1,150 meters, which is only 3,770 feet. We could have handled that, buddy. I'm quite sure of that. Not at their speeds, but we could have handled that. The average temperature was around 29 degrees Celsius, which was 84 degrees Fahrenheit, which, for the way it's been going, that was actually cool for the other 6 days before that. Riders, where are we at on that? There was a rider who did not start. They withdrew before Stage 7. He was on the Soudal Quick Step team, but there's no other abandonments on the ride. The big winner today, Tim Merlier, Soudal Quick Step. He powered to victory through a thrilling bunch sprint in Bordeaux. I got to say, his timing for that acceleration was perfect over the last 200 meters. I mean, it was incredible. His average speed was 46.5 kilometers. That's 28.9 miles per hour. But I mean, he played the game well today. He planned it perfectly. He accelerated when he needed to accelerate, and it was just impressive. Although there was a breakaway today, Baptiste Verstoffer, who was in the breakaway yesterday, and Jakub Truba, there we go. They got in a breakaway. The peloton was saying, no, that's not going to happen. They never got much freedom in that breakaway. The sprint teams, including Alperson, UNO-X, and Soudal, pretty much controlled the final outcome of the race. Another big thing I will mention is Girmay finished third after another strong sprint. So he is hasn't won anything yet, but he is making some very, very strong finishes. And I am going to predict right now that he probably mid to late next week, he's the guy to be looking at. General classification, yellow jersey, Toddy's still holding on to that. The green jersey, again, goes to Mods. The white jersey, Del Toro, and the polka dot jersey is still with Toddy. So nothing's really changed in the jerseys. So those are all have pretty much stayed the same. Most combative rider, though, I don't think it's any surprise, is Batista. In that breakaway, he is just getting out there. And even though he's not really getting anything with that breakaway, he's still winning that most combative, which I think is well-deserved. So that is Tour de France 2026, Stage 7 in a condensed version for you.
Well, thank you, Century 21, for the combative award. So we learned that. Speaking of learning, sir, a couple things.
I like
we learned today that you are 29. Okay, maybe you're a little bit more than 29. But you and I got in a little bit of a conversation last night about money. And you know, when we consider like pro football, it's become very the norm to hear the contract of a quarterback. It's or a high level linebacker, or somebody, or even, believe it or not, even the kicker. Sometimes you hear even their contract, like Jake Moody, who came out of University of Michigan. Now, if anyone is a Jake Moody fan, you know that he went to San Francisco and the bed. But when he was here, all 4 years at University of Michigan, he never missed a punt. So people pay attention to that. My point is, when you also know like Otani for his contract, have you ever wondered how a tour rider makes their money? Have you ever considered that?
Yes, I have considered that. Although I don't really know if a lot of people understand that. Because it's not all about, they all have contracts with their particular teams, but it's not just all about the contracts as I understand it. And I'm assuming you're going to break some information down for us.
I am. I have 4 pages. Now don't panic. I'm not going to give you 4 pages. But when I got home today, knowing that you were running some errands before we could give our leisure breakaway, I did not use ChatGPT or Claude like I normally do.
Dun, dun, dun.
I went old school. This little thing called Google. It's a searching page.
I was there when it came into existence. Absolutely,
the original AI, right? But so I actually went and did some research, because I would consider myself not whatever under novice is. I mean, like below that, like walk into a room, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. So I didn't know like if they made money because they made the tour, because they win stages or anything. So let me try to break this down. Let me try to keep this nice and clean and concise.
Cool.
So the number one way that a rider gets their money is being on the team salary. And so the salary that is given to them is a fixed cost, and this is before they even do anything, before they pedal a bicycle or anything. And this can range, and there's a very large range on this. We're talking 44,000 euros, or what is the equivalent today of $50,280, to 8 million euros a year, which is the equivalent of about 9.1 million American dollars currently. The vast majority of the pros get their contract paid in the team sponsors, such as you've mentioned many times, up into Stage 7, the UAE, Visa Lease, is that how you say it? Visma Lease, A-Bike.
Yeah.
And I thought what I needed to do was to give you some variations of the riders. And so I wanted to give you like a spread out. Like Toddy is 8 million. He's right in there. Is it Evanpool? Is that how you pronounce that?
Evanpool, yeah.
Okay. He's 6.6 million euros. And then Vendegaard, 5 million. Vanderpool, around 4 million. Then there's a middle of the pack, which was about 538,000 euros, or with the equivalent of about 650,000 American dollars. And then the bottom of the floor is the 44,150 euros, either employed or self-employed. The wage gap inside one team bus is literally the leader could have 100 times the Dominique. How do you pronounce that? Dominique? Or
Domestique.
Domestique. So the point is that you could be on the team bus. One guy could be sitting in front of you and make 100 times more than you do.
So that's really not much different than regular life.
This is true.
You got this little microcosm on a bus. You're all on the same team. Yeah, I mean, and I can believe that. I mean, you've got the all stars, the Toddies and those type of people out there, and then you've just got, like you said, the domestiques, and that's just the fancy French word for the guys who are working for the captain. I mean, those are the guys that you see going back to the team cars, loading up with 5 or 6 bottles. Maybe they grab an extra musette with food and that type of stuff for somebody. They're the ones that are, their job is to ensure that their team captain wins the day, ultimately wins the tour. So the team doesn't really count on them winning. Now, sometimes they do because they get in a breakaway or whatever, but yeah, they're the ones probably working the hardest because they have to go to the back and then they have to crank it all the way back up towards the front to drop off this stuff. But, generally they're young riders. And generally, these are guys that are, they're on the team. So there's a chance that they could be up and coming and, 5 years, 6 years down the road, they could be the one with the big paycheck sitting at the front of the bus. And these guys are bringing them water bottles. So
another way that the riders make money is personal endorsements and image rights. And this can also be a very, very wide range, from watches to sunglasses to nutritions to even cars. I was surprised to see that some of the riders, their sponsorship includes free cars. What a rough life, huh?
They never use them. They're always on their bike, but yeah, they got one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Stars negotiate image rights into their contracts and personality sells. Tour winner endorsements can approach and exceed the team salary. So, literally one endorsement could be the entire team salary. And then might be free sunglasses for the team, growing angle riders with big social followings. And so there's also contract performance bonuses written into the team contracts. As you mentioned, some of those guys who usually ride behind, who come back up and power up, part of the contract is if they actually win a stage or whatever, there's each time they do have a chance of winning some money. And then there's also the post-tour appearances where they, come to bike shops and get paid just to come up. But I wanted to mention and get to prize money. And for a guy like myself who's never been into the tour, I wasn't sure, but the yellow jersey, that's not a bad day in the saddle. That's 500,000 euros for the final yellow jersey. The final yellow.
So that's at the very end, 500,000 euros.
That's correct. The second and third overall is 200,000 euros and 100,000 euros. If they win a stage, 11,000 euros, and second is 550,000 euros. No, 5,500 euros. Forgive me. Third is 2,800 euros. A green or a polka dotted final is 25,000 euros. A white jersey final is 20,000 euros. Team classification win is 50,000 for the top 5 teams. they have to share the 120,000 euros. The super combativity award that we've been speaking about, thanks to Century 21, 20,000 euros. A day in yellow is 500 euros a day. Day in other jerseys could be 300 euros a day. The twist that makes this a great segment, tradition, riders don't keep it. All prize money is pooled and split among the teammates and staff, which I thought was extremely interesting. For and maybe you knew that, but I was surprised that they pool everything and split. That's part of most team contracts.
And not only do they split it, you said something very important. They split it amongst the team and the staff. So we're talking that prize money also gets split with the mechanics, the masseuse, the cooks, the chefs, all the people that are traveling with them that are on the staff, the drivers of the team cars, all get to participate in that winning amount. So everybody, when those mechanics get out, you see them pushing and all this kind of stuff. It's because, they've got a financial stake in their person or one of their teammates winning. So it's very, very cool.
I also was looking at a comparison, and this one I must be 100% truthful. I did go back to AI, and I asked Claude, give me a comparison. So the total tour prize pot, which is 2.3 million euros, which is really weird because the Wimbledon pot is 20 times larger. In comparison, when you think about the Tour de France versus something like Wimbledon or I thought that was just absolutely amazing that when you look at the comparison, it's nowhere near other sports. And it seems to me it would be a lot harder to ride your bike thousands of miles through the mountains of France.
You would think, but tennis is a lot more popular sport. I mean, look here in the United States, 6 riders in the tour from the United States. I mean, we're massive. Cycling is just not that big a deal here in the U.S. And so there's a huge group of people who would sponsor who aren't going to really sponsor if they're trying to hit the United States because a lot of people here, vast majority of people really aren't interested. But tennis, that's a big draw. And so it kind of makes sense. The one point I did want to also point out is you're giving us all of this in euros, which I find very funny because if I'm on the tour and I have a commissar flag me or give me, some penalty for doing something wrong, they're going to penalize me in Swiss francs. But the prize money I win is in euros. So I just think that's interesting that your penalty is in the Swiss franc, but your payout is in the euro.
That is interesting, and that's what Armando mentioned the other day in our texting thread. The last thing I want to mention about all of this money, it says that the tour does not make a rider rich. It just makes them valuable, which their name, their image, and everything else like that. So the tour itself is yes, it brings them money, but it doesn't, it just helps them with the career. But really what it's doing is it increases or decreases, I hate to say that, their value. So
yeah, and you'll see a lot of times the commentators will be talking that different riders during the tour, their contracts might be coming up. And so their performance at the tour is a big deal if they're going into contract negotiations in the next couple of months. That can go a long way, as you know, a third place finish in the tour versus 27th place in the tour, a jersey win in the tour, things like that would all play into your negotiation abilities. So yeah, makes sense.
And that's what I have for you this time, my friend.
Very interesting. Thanks for looking into that. I don't think everybody really understands, how these people get paid and where the money goes. But I appreciate you putting into in the research to give us a rundown. So
I almost didn't know how to use the old Google. I've been so accustomed to AI. Although I got to tell you the truth, Google's kind of changed too. I haven't been in Google in a long time, but it basically gave me somewhat AI answers and then let me do a deep dive. So that was kind of. I think it's all going that way, buddy, whether I like it or not.
Yep. Hop on board. Anyway, tomorrow, 176 miles, another flat day. Sprinters are gonna be loving it. It's gonna be their opportunity. Expect not only the sprinters, but crosswinds could be a factor. Might have to do some echelons tomorrow. Who knows? And we'll see how everything turns out again tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll be a little cooler like it was today. So we'll talk tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. And with that, I want to say happy birthday. Hope you and your family can celebrate tonight. But more than that, I know people are really enjoying this.
Welcome to the Leisure Breakaway. Catch the sun and seize the day. Push the limit, feel the heat. Listen to the rhythmic beat. Keep on moving, never slow. Where the yellow jersey goes. The tour is calling out your name.